Mariam Zakaria, and I got your name right, Mariam Zakaria. And everybody else in the room, you're welcome. And I would love to say, before I jump into the presentation straight up, I want to say you guys are really doing well. I've been following the activities of IVSA, various segments in all the universities. I think I'm actively seeing the one of ILORIN, Ibadan, and Abuja. And I would like to say you guys are really doing well. I wish we had this opportunity back then in school. It wasn't really, though, it wasn't like I graduated decades ago. No, it was just like, I think five or 6 years ago. I'm not really sure, I think 2016. So with IVSA, I heard about it while in school, but you know how times were then. All we just wanted to do was concentrate, ace our grades, and move forward. You know how vet school is. You don't want any form of distraction, but I'm really impressed at the way you guys are, the way you guys create time to engage yourself in something this productive. So kudos to all of you, and please don't relent in all your efforts. Relate well with colleagues from all spheres of life, different countries, from different climes. You get to know what's going on, opportunities available, to know how great you can be as a veterinarian. So I believe every one of us in this room is a student of veterinary medicine. And so I'll be talking about how to start a poultry farm. So what is basically poultry farming? We all know it's raising birds, either at a commercial or domestic scale for the purpose of their meat, eggs, or any other byproduct. Nothing is actually a waste in poultry farm. At the moment, poultry litter is a highly sought after product. Here in Kaduna, it's going for as high as 6,000 naira per bag. So, nothing is actually a waste in poultry farm. So, but basically meat, eggs, and any other thing, even feathers. So before you can start any business, basically, not necessarily a poultry farm, anything at all, you have to, the most important thing is, knowledge, but then you need capital, okay? Okay, my apologies, I actually have a PowerPoint presentation, but my laptop decided not to work this morning, but what?
I think we lost connection with you, Ma. I don't know if I'm the only one that can't hear her right now. Abdulakim, can you hear her?
No, she's not talking. No, not at all. I can't hear.
I think our connection is breaking. So let's just give her a few minutes and hopefully she will join back. Thank you. So sorry for the delay. I'll try to find out what the problem is. It shares a network though. In the meantime, please kindly fill our attendance. I'll drop it in the chat box now so that you'll be able to get a certificate at the end of this workshop. Thank you. Hello, if you are just joining in, we're having a little connection issue from our guest speaker's end. So we want to give her a few minutes to see if she'll be able to join. In the meantime, there's an attendance link in the chat box, so please try to fill that. Thank you.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We are with you, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, my sincere apologies. I guess my network just bumped me off. Yes. So where was I? So I was talking about basically capital. We all know, we hear all of these things. You go on the internet, how you can source for capital. Yes, you can bootstrap your business, personal savings. You can also get support from family and friends who believe in your cause. And that's why before you start anything, you need to come up with a practical business plan, because whoever it is you want to support your business needs to see where you're coming from and where you're going, so they know where they're putting their money. You can't expect someone to just give you 100,000, not knowing what exactly you want to do with it, you know. I personally did that, got the money from my dad, and I couldn't even I'm sorry, I couldn't even, and he said, you know, I gave you that money because I knew you were going to learn a lesson. You didn't bring a business proposal, but I gave you the money. Now you fumbled. So now you can't come back to me without a business proposal, you know? So you need to have a solid business plan. I was just naive, freshly out of school, thinking I could do my business. Daddy was there to give me money, and now, poof, you know, well, alhamdulillah. And then you can get soft loans from the bank. I'm not really, soft loans are good. Soft loan in the sense that there is a reasonable pattern of payment. You know, the interest rate is reasonable, but you need to be serious. You don't want the banks coming for your neck when you cannot deliver on your payment plan. That's number one, capital. And then number two, you need knowledge. You need knowledge. You need training, basic training, even if it's not physically engaging. Though physically engaging training is, I would highly recommend that. Not necessarily some formal form of training. You can get a poultry farm. We have poultry farms all around us. Tell them, oh, I just want to come around and help you guys, even if you're not paying me anything. You know, you can gain some knowledge, you can gain experience, which is invaluable to me. Because trust me, poultry farming is different from obviously what you read in your textbooks. Yes, it will help you set the pace. But trust me, what's going on out there is totally, totally different. You need practical experience, you need practical training to be able to pull it through. So you have all of these things. That's one. You need capital, you need you need knowledge and practical training, and then you need a business plan to help you to, even if the money is yours, even if you bootstrapped the business, as in you funded it with your own savings, you feel you don't owe anybody any explanation, but trust me, you do. So you know where your business is heading. And then secondly, I'm going to say a long list, not very long, but a few, let me say, things you need. Oh, before I go there, let's talk about the types of birds you rear. So you can either go, you need to know, that's why you need knowledge, so you can understand the challenges, the trends, and the opportunities within the sector. So you can say, okay, understand the market, and you can say, okay, this is what I can go into. Is it either broiler farming? You know, you can go into broiler farming purposely for meat, and then you can go into layer farming, which is you can do for purposely for eggs, but after their period of lay, you can go ahead and sell them as spent layers, though not as costly as broiler birds do go, but it's still a win-win situation. And as I said, you can also sell litter along the line, as long as the market, because organic fertilizer is really expensive. Inorganic fertilizer, sorry, it's really chemical fertilizer, it's really expensive. So people are really literally running for this organic fertilizer. So you need to understand what exactly your community need, or what exactly the market needs. That's understanding the trends, the opportunities, and the challenges. So you can either go into both. So for broiler farming, and I'll advise you to start on a small scale. Along the line, you're going to build on your experience, because starting on a bigger scale without much experience is dangerous. And it requires a lot of capital. Drugs, inputs are on the high rise right now. Feed prices are high, vaccines, you want to talk about drugs, or you want to talk about the DOC itself. We all know what's going on in the country. Everything is high. So you need to start small so you don't crash. Over time, several batches, you get to sharpen your skills, you get better along the line, and you can say, okay, you can start increasing your capacity gradually until you peak to a number where you're comfortable with and you know you can manage properly. Because it actually requires a lot of work. You know, you have to clean the houses, you have to feed, you have to do a lot of things. So it requires, it's not child's play. You cannot, mark my words, you cannot run a poultry farm on autopilot. That is a recipe for disaster. Trust me, just put your birds, turn your back and leave, and come back 24 hours later to say, oh, let me come and change the water. No, trust me, you're going to crash, and you're going to crash badly. So you need to give them as much attention. You're going to invest your time, you're going to invest effort, you're going to invest money, you know. So as I said, you know the type of birds you want to rear. So now you need land and then a good location. Since we're talking about starting small, you can get some space in your backyard, somewhere you can take, even if it's 50 birds or even 20. What are we really saying? As long as you're raising them on a commercial scale, you can see how well, even if it's for a start, you say, okay, Daddy, can you give me so amount of money to raise 10 birds for you or 20 birds for you for the family consumption. From there, you can say, okay, this is how I did it. This is where I went wrong. This is where I need to improve before you can go on a commercial scale. So it's all part of learning. So you need good location. Make sure where you're setting your poultry farm, you're not offending anybody with smell. You're not making your neighbors uncomfortable. So that's why you need to keep the poultry house very clean, because trust me, it is not nice to have your neighbors knocking on your door and complaining about the persistent smell. It's not nice. And then you need good housing. You need quality day-old chicks. Everything, don't compromise on quality. Because trust me, once you compromise on quality, you start facing management issues. They are more scary than disease outbreaks. Trust me, when you have issues with poor quality vaccines, poor quality drugs, poor quality feed, poor quality DOC, nothing is going to work out. So you need your feeding and drinking equipment. You need a good water source, because water seems to be the major source of contamination, major source of diseases for poultry. And then you need good quality feed, you need good quality drugs and vaccines, and most importantly, you need veterinary care. And as a vet, that's like icing for you, because you're going to save a lot. You're going to, especially if you're raising laying birds, you know, they have a long list of vaccinations to receive, both injectable and oral, over a period of, I say 16 weeks before they start laying. So you're going to pay, and I think they pay like 20 naira per bed, and the beacon, you have to pay for the beacon too. So you can imagine being a veterinarian, you're going to cancel out payment for paying someone to offer you these services. You can do it yourself. And I want us to, in the long run, immediately recondition our mind, because unfortunately, as veterinarians, we're trained, especially in this part of the country, we're trained to see ourselves as service providers. All we have to do is sell feed. All we have to do is sell drugs. All we have to do is go and debug and vaccinate. No, you can actually be enterprising. And that's like, you have an upper hand in the chain, because you know what's going on, you know what to do. And even if you have farm attendants and farm managers, nobody can actually come and tell you otherwise, because you know the quantity of feed your animal is supposed to take at this certain age, the quantity of water, you know the percentage production at that particular age. And if you're not getting it, then something is wrong, and you know where to start looking at. You know, so somebody cannot actually come and tell you jamboree story about how something is not going right. Or so, no, you're a professional. So if you can imagine having that added advantage. So I want you all to see yourself as my boss would say it, vetpreneurs. We can go beyond just selling drugs. We can go beyond selling vaccines. We can do so much more. And poultry, trust me, poultry is gold mine. Done rightly, poultry is gold mine, because at the moment, broiler birds are highly, highly sought after. Meat is very expensive. I think a kg is going for, 2,400 where I am presently in Kaduna. And then a kg of broiler is going for 1,400 naira. Isn't that reasonable? So for broilers, you have their feed. Of course, you have the super starter, you have the starter, you have finisher. These are the three kinds of feed you give your broiler birds. And then there are different feed for layers too. So that's why from the beginning I said you need knowledge and you need training. You can't just jump on and start. So I'll briefly just delve into each of the type of poultry farming and give you guys a head start. And then along the line, I will share my slides with Mariam Zakaria, and she can get it across to all of you. So if you're going into broiler farming, the best practice is usually deep litter. And when I say deep litter, like you're going to have them on the floor with sawdust or in a cage, depending on your location. You have to also order your chicks from reputable vendors. We've heard of stories where people have hatcheries behind their houses and they decide to sell out bad quality chicks to people. And once you have bad quality chicks, nothing is going to work out. They won't grow when they're supposed to, they will die, stunted growth, you will be faced with so many challenges. And after that, for the broilers, their vaccination schedule is actually very short. They're all administered, other than the ones given at the hatchery. From your own point, you're just going to administer a series of vaccine, Gumboro for Gumboro disease, infectious bursal disease, and then for Newcastle. Basically, because you're slaughtering them some people keep them, depending on the purpose, either 6 weeks, 7 weeks, or 8 weeks, depending on your market target. So you're going to give them there's a vaccination schedule for them, which is specifically tailored for our own environment, because while we're in school, I also thought, vaccination schedules were just the same for everywhere. You're reading Indian textbooks or textbooks for India, US, UK. No, vaccination schedules actually based on, they're similar, but it's based on the endemicity of a disease in a particular region. So for broiler birds, Gumboro, Lasota, at day 5, day 7, day 9, day 11, thereabouts. So depending on how long you're keeping them, you give them 3 shots, but mostly people give just 2 shots, 2 shots of Gumboro, 2 shots of Lasota, and then you move forward. Make sure you don't compromise on biosecurity. Make sure you don't compromise on biosecurity. Biosecurity in poultry farming is top-notch. I'm sure you guys have heard of how avian influenza has cost people millions of naira. One of the biggest farms in Abuja shut down as a result of avian influenza, and it's still plaguing the society. It's just that I don't know if you guys if you all are following the news on avian influenza, but it hasn't really been. It's been a nasty situation so far. I know of farms, a lot of farms that are presently on lockdown because of avian influenza, because you have to depopulate before you can get, you can allow your farm rest for like 3 months before you can restock. So biosecurity is top notch. Don't compromise your biosecurity. We have formulas you can use to calculate the amount of feed your birds will consume from so age to so age. All of these things will be in the slides I will share with Dr. Mariam. Water consumption, but for drugs, for vaccines, yes, you can calculate the cost of vaccine, but for drugs, you can't really do that because you don't know what's coming, So you can't really say, okay, anticipating so disease. No, it doesn't work that way. That's why when in your capital, there's what you call running costs. So you need to set aside that because you need this particular amount of money to run your business over the period of time before your birds get to point of sale. So for broiler, and then you need to understand the market. You don't want to put your birds and then when they're due for sale, that's when you start looking for your buyers. No, that's very wrong. That's a big mistake people make. You need to establish your market before you even stock your birds. Okay, for a start, I know I have uncles, I know I have friends, I know I have colleagues who are going to support my cause and buy my birds. You belong to so many WhatsApp groups. Once in a while, you need to catch fun, post your memes and stuff, but constantly. You can even start marketing your birds 2 weeks before they're due. You start letting people know your birds will be due in the next 2 weeks. People will start booking, so that's how we work. So make sure you establish your market before. That is what actually gets people to underprice their animals, their birds at the end of the day, because once it's time to sell them and the market is not there, that's extra cost for you because you have to keep feeding them. You can't keep them hungry because you don't have people buying them. So, but once you have your market, there and then once they're due, you call people who have already ordered, your chicken is ready, and make sure at every point, you're thinking about value addition, how you can add value to you guys. I'm sure you guys know what value addition means. There's the value chain, basically each and every, like a part, a section, let's say a part of production till it gets to the final point. So that at every point, there's a value you can add. What can I do differently? Can I raise as a veterinarian, can I assure my consumers that they're consuming wholesome products, which is very good, because most people don't know the effect, especially now that we're dealing with antimicrobial resistance. You can assure people that my birds, not that I'm not medicating them, I'm medicating them, but I make sure the withdrawal period is exhausted before I slaughter them. So you can add value, people at this point, people are choosing what they want to eat. We have gotten to that point. So there is always market for whatever it is you're selling. Trust me. All you need to do is market aggressively. You will find your clientele. You need to tell them, oh, okay, as a veterinarian, you should trust me. I'm a professional. I will do nothing to harm the general public. I'm a One Health advocate. I'm a public health advocate, things like that. So you can add value. You can do something different from what every other person on the street is doing. You can decide to sell chicken parts. You don't have to sell them in whole. You can decide to sell smoked chicken. You can decide to do so many things at the end of the day. So you're different from every other person selling fresh chicken. That's one. So for broiler farming, basically, you need drugs, you need vaccines, you need food, feed, sorry, don't mind me. You need good source of water, and that's it. So before you start, you need to know exactly where you're going into. Please and please and please, you don't want to waste anybody's money, especially your own money, and you don't want to disappoint your family members or friends that believe in you. And you don't want to go to the bank. We're all vets here. You know literally what happens when your jugular vein is slit open, like you're just going to die. The bank comes for your jugular. I'm not trying to scare you. So you need to know exactly where you're coming from, who you're going at. They will bleed you till they get their money back. They don't care. They're so nice when they're asking you to come and take a loan. But when it's time for you to pay back, it's no child's play. So you have to be serious. So for laying birds,
Ma?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma, I can hear you. So we're using the basic Zoom account, and it should end in the next 3 minutes.
Oh.
So maybe we can all like leave and join back so that we won't like get cut off like halfway. I hope that's okay.
Oh, no problem. Please do
All
that.
right.
Do that. No problem. No
All
problem.
right. Thank you
Fine,
very
I understand. You're welcome.